Thailand versus Philippines. Which country is better to visit? If you're thinking about visiting either Thailand or Philippines, well, both countries are absolutely amazing. But in this video, I'm going to break down 10 categories where I'll compare the two countries. So if you're visiting or maybe thinking about moving there, you'll know what to expect. In each category that we're going to break down today, there's going to be one winner with 1 point, and then we'll see who's coming out better in the end. Here are the categories. First, we're going to go through nature, then we're going to go through nightlife, then food, then the social factor, then hotels, then costs, then culture and history, then dating, then communication, and then transportation. Who do you think is going to win? Before we jump into this, I just want to tell you that I've been in both Thailand and Philippines for more than a few months, and what you're going to be hearing from me today is sort of like a first impression, but also keep this in mind. I've lived in 3 different countries earlier in my life. I grew up in Norway, then I lived in London for a while, and then I've lived in like major cities around the US for quite a while, 17 years actually, before I ended up in this part of the world, here in Southeast Asia. And if there's one thing I've noticed is that when people are new to a new culture in a country, they're usually quite enthusiastic about the move, about the place, and quite positive. But once people have stayed there for like 10 years, perhaps you're starting to see more of the negative aspects of society. So what you'll hear from me today is from someone who's still quite new and very optimistic and positive to those places. So the way I'm feeling is most likely how you will feel in the first few years if you are visiting or deciding to move to one of these places. All right, the first category is nature, and boy, this one is difficult because both of these places are just mind-blowing when it comes to nature. Thailand's got places like, Koh Phi Phi, Maya Bay, absolutely fantastic nature. The island of Koh Samui that's got really beautiful beaches. There's like the hillsides that have absolutely fantastic views of the island there. You got island hopping there. One of the most beautiful beaches as well, you got in a hidden little secret island called Koh Lipa in the south of Thailand. Mind-blowing nature, really, really mind-blowing nature. I really like the ocean and islands, so particularly like I'm attracted to that kind of nature. But then you got Philippines, and in Philippines there's places like Boracay, which has been voted the best beach on earth year after year by travel magazines. And there's also like one of the most beautiful, serene beaches I've ever seen called Nakpan Beach in El Nido, or in the El Nido area. That's like, I can't even believe that that place is not more famous. So like, shh, don't tell anyone about this place. It's like mind-blowing, And talking about Palawan, which is where that area is, there's also literally like the best island hopping in the world, like by far. That the island hopping there is just crazy. You see these like rock formations into the ocean that just look incredibly dramatic. So that place, fantastic, Then you got Siargao, which also has absolutely crazy, stunning island hopping there, with Naked Island and Guam, which is just, such a cool place to visit. And you got the jungle vibes there in Siargao as well. So it's just kind of, there's like a viewpoint there that's called, I think it's called something like Coconut Viewpoint. Absolutely fantastic. So, it really hurts my heart to have to choose between these two amazing countries when it comes to nature. But I feel like I'm gonna give Philippines the win on this one, but it's a very, very small win because Thailand is, they're pretty much equal here, so it's difficult to give one of these countries a win here, but I'm giving Philippines the point in the category of nature. All right, next category is nightlife. And again, It breaks my heart to have to choose a winner here, but I'm gonna break it down with Philippines first this time. So with Philippines, I mean, dude, with nightlife, I'm just having so much fun there. There's places like Cebu and Manila where, you know, when I'm going out there, I just feel like it's very different than going out to some of the high-end spots that I've seen around the world from, you know, LA, Miami, New York, Tulum, Dubai, etc., where it's often a sort of like status game that people are paying when you're going out there, you know? People are kind of trying to win some sort of like status vibe when they're going out. But like in the Philippines, when I go out, it just feels so real, you know? People are genuinely going out just to have a good time. And I think that most places that I go to there, several times at night, I'm just looking around myself and I see people singing along to the music, dancing, hands up. Like people are like genuinely just enjoying their time there. And you know, it just feels more real, you know, when you're going out in places like that. To places like Boracay, where like you're literally on the beach on a bar with a bear and your feet in the sand, and you can, you know, hear the ocean right in front of you with like a fantastic view right in front of you, sun setting or maybe right after sunset. I mean, you know, it's a real paradise, you know, going out there. And, you know, SHOWDOWN as well, you know, it's got a really cool nightlife there where I made a video from there as well, so you can check it out. But there's like a long street there where like people are kind of gathered more or less in the street and just going between different bars there, you know. So, I don't know, it's a pretty cool nightlife. So I really like nightlife in the Philippines. But then you got nightlife in Thailand, and gosh, what a variety of nightlife you have in Thailand. There's everything from like incredibly sort of like international high-end spots like Pastel or Baccarat in Bangkok that are just like incredibly, you know, high-end type of nightlife. A bit expensive, I would say. But then you have places that are, you know, what should I say, like much more like low-key. There's tons of bars everywhere that you can just like walk into, and you know, all the alcohol is very, very affordable, and everyone that's there are just sort of like, what should I say, like they call Thailand the land of smiles, and there's no, what should I say, that's not a coincidence, you know. People are really friendly there, and you can really like have a good time no matter what kind of nightlife you like. And yeah, it's just like a huge variety of different types of nightlife there. So I mean, I always have such a good time when I'm going out in Thailand. And in this category, I am so sorry, but it is literally impossible to crown a winner in this category because both countries have absolutely mind-blowing nightlife. So with this one, I'm going to say both countries get 1 point each. All right, next category is food, and this one is also tricky because food is amazing in both countries. Like in the Philippines, you got chicken adobo and like sisig, lechon. Oh my God, it is so yummy. So I really love the local food in the Philippines. The only thing with food in the Philippines, if you're looking at international food, of course, there's no problem finding international food. When I was staying in Manila, I thought, especially in BGC, there's a lot of stuff to choose from in terms of international food. But I kind of have to do a little bit of research to try and find which one is the best restaurant here. You can't just kind of like randomly walk into any international food spot there and just assume that it's, you know, super high quality. You know, you gotta do your research a little bit, you know. And in other parts of the Philippines as well, I feel like it's not quite as easy to find amazing international food. Now I'm talking about non-Filipino food, basically. So it's a bit of, not work, you know, but it's not as accessible as it is in other, what should I say, foodie places like Miami, London, or Bangkok. So if I'm talking about Thailand here, one, again, you have absolutely amazing local food, just like as in the Philippines. Thai food is just mind-blowing. You know, I've tried quite a few different dishes now in Thailand, and almost everything I taste is just absolutely amazing, you know? So when it comes to like local food, I don't think any country is better than the other one. It's pretty much the same. But when it comes to international food, like if you're a foodie and you want to have food from all corners of the world, I gotta say there's more to choose from in Bangkok. I just think it's a little bit easier to find international food, whether you're looking for Italian or Mexican or Japanese or a steakhouse. There's just so many options, and most of them are really, really great quality. You don't have to think about it too much, you know? So because it's a little bit easier with international food in Thailand, I'm gonna give Thailand the victory in this category. So 1 point for Thailand here. So the next category is the social factor of both these countries when you're visiting or living there. And again, man, it is really hard to compare these countries because both of them are really super friendly countries. That's why I love both the Philippines and Thailand. Thailand, they, by the way, call it, as I mentioned before, the land of smiles, you know, because people are just so friendly and, you know, like in such a good mood wherever you go. Service is really top notch, you know, it's like hard to find somewhere else in the world that is really at the same level as Thailand. Really, really, really difficult. And I just think that, you know, in speaking with locals, whenever they speak English, they're so friendly. It's so easy to get to speak with people and make new friends in Thailand. Literally, you know, yeah, heaven on earth when it comes to the social factor. The only thing with Thailand is that the English proficiency is not sky high. So, you know, in some places, like I went to a big city called Udon Thani, where there's, actually if you haven't watched that video, you can check out the link here. It's one of my last videos. And, you know, of course there are some expats there, but generally not a lot of tourists go to this area. It's not one of the most famous tourist destinations like Koh Samui, Phuket, etc. But I was realizing as I was kind of walking around and trying to speak with people off camera that it's a little bit harder to find people that speak English there. I mean, there are, of course, people speak English, you know, without a doubt, but it was a lot of people that don't speak English there. And I don't really see that so much in the Philippines. When I'm in the Philippines, I feel like, yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's super easy to meet local Filipinos wherever you go. And like, you know, a lot of times, like, I'm not even like looking to make friends or like, you know, socialize, but like, let's say I go somewhere to a bar or a cafe, a lot of times, like, it just happens to me that Filipinos will come over and start to just make friends, or they're curious about me. And I mean, yeah, I don't know, like a hotel I was staying at in Cebu, literally, I think I was friends with everyone working at the hotel there after a while. It's just, yeah, I don't know, it's just a very, very friendly culture, you know, so I just feel really well, you know, just being in the Philippines. And because people speak incredibly well English, I mean, better than me, honestly, most Filipinos speak much better English than me. It's just very, very easy with communication there. So I think in terms of like the social factor, it is slightly easier in Philippines because of the English proficiency. So it almost hurts my heart here not to give this point to the Thai people that are the land of the smiles. They're so incredibly friendly. But this is a small victory here for the Philippines. So 1 point for Philippines due to the English proficiency. All right, next one is hotels. And in this category, here's my thinking with hotels. I've traveled and seen quite a few hotels in both Philippines and in Thailand. And there's, you know, amazing hotels in both countries. And it's not hard to find good hotels in most countries. There's like, you know, there's one hotel I stayed at in Mactan, Mactan Island outside Cebu in the Philippines that I thought, wow, it's very, very, very beautiful, really cool, a super high standard. But, you know, I've seen all kinds of hotels in the Philippines, and same thing in Thailand. I've seen all kinds of hotels there. And what I'm seeing is that, you know, the price level overall is a little bit lower in the Philippines, so that's definitely like a plus with Philippines, maybe except for Siargao. You can definitely run up quite a bill in Siargao, but the price levels generally in Philippines is a little bit lower in my perspective, or whatever budget you have. I feel like I get a little bit more value in the Philippines. But if you're looking at, what should I say, like if you're looking for really cool, modern, amazing hotels that are at a decent price, it's a little bit harder to find that in the Philippines, generally speaking, than in Thailand. I just think there's a lot more to choose from in Thailand when it comes to like cool, modern hotels where you get a lot of value for money. And that's what I'm mostly looking for. You know, with my budget, I'm looking for that budget level. Like an example of this type of hotel is Ira Hotel in Bangkok that I'm staying on quite often. So I want to say for that reason only, it's hard to pick a winner here, but I think this one goes to Thailand. All right, next up, we got costs. And this is an interesting one that I know a lot of people are interested in. So in order to compare the two different countries, I'll just give you some background information. And that is, let's say you're living in a major Western city, like Miami, for example. You know, every month you have your rent, car expenses, health insurance, but you also have like the daily living expenses of living in a place like Miami, New York, LA, London, whatever you are. And you know, it's so expensive in those type of countries just to like go out to restaurants now and then, you know, like Ubers around the city are quite expensive, or taxis. Just to like live a regular month there is quite expensive. So that, let's say you did a vacation trip 1 month to the Philippines, you're probably thinking, oh my God, it's gonna be a much more expensive month than your regular month, because you would have your regular rent and expenses going on in Miami on top of the very long flight and all the hotel costs that you gotta be doing. But I'm telling you, if you're a little bit careful with your money, literally that month, even though you have your regular expenses in the West, is still gonna be a cheaper month than a regular month for you, because just the living expenses of like going out and eating and taking taxis around and just kind of like, yeah, even groceries, it's so expensive in those cities that you're gonna save a lot just by making a 1 month vacation trip to the Philippines. Or Thailand too. When it comes to Thailand, it's kind of a special situation because it used to be a lot more affordable than it is now. So there's a lot of expats that are sort of complaining a bit right now, is from what I'm seeing online, that are saying that, you know, Thailand has gotten a bit too expensive or more expensive, and people are kind of wishing it was the way it used to be. I'm not sure why this has happened. But when I'm traveling in Thailand, I think it's quite affordable. You know, I'm not really thinking too much about it. I still think I get like a tremendous value for money when I'm in Thailand, but also perhaps because I'm newer there, I don't really know so much what it was like back in the days. But for me, coming from the Western world, geez, it's a lot of great value of just staying and living in Thailand. So I really love it and think it's like, yeah, a fantastic place when it comes to like costs. But, and here's the point, the Philippines is more cost friendly. You know, things are basically a little bit more affordable in the Philippines, generally speaking, you know. I want to say the two exceptions is if you are staying at hotels in Siargao, that could be a little bit expensive. And also there's a few flights that can get a little expensive in the Philippines, particularly if you're flying from Manila to El Nido. I think there's a few other, actually also to Siargao. Those two typical costs can be quite expensive there, but except for that, you know, generally speaking, like alcohol and food, transportation, it's quite affordable there, you know. So in my perspective, I spend a little less money every month when I'm in the Philippines versus Thailand. Both of them are amazing. You get a lot of value for money in both those places. But I do feel like it's a little bit more affordable in the Philippines. So that's why this category goes to the Philippines. So 1 point to the Philippines. Next up, culture and history. And this is quite a fascinating topic too. Because if you look at the Philippines, for example, it has a very fascinating history that I think kind of colors the culture in the Philippines today. They were basically a part of both the Spanish Empire, but have also had like were a part of the US basically for a long time. So traveling in the Philippines today, I can both see a bit of the American influence, especially in the language, like everyone speaks just perfect English there, better than me. But also there's like a Spanish influence, certain words are Spanish, and yeah, I don't know, there's something like a little bit of a Spanish influence in the Philippines now, so that I think is kind of like a unique sort of historical and cultural story to sort of like take in when you're visiting. And Thailand is very different. And by the way, if there's any Filipinos watching now, I'm just giving some of the headlines of the Filipino history. I'm sure there's a lot more to say. I'm not an expert on this, so I'm just telling you what I'm sort of taking in as I'm, a new visitor to the country. And this is kind of like what I'm seeing here. That this is very interesting. I could sort of see the sort of cultural influences that has sort of created how it is today, and those are the main two things that I'm like, these really are connected, it's interesting, And in Thailand, when I'm there, I could see that same thing. Like if you're looking at Thai history, they've never been colonized or part of any other country. So they do definitely have their own very distinct, unique culture, language, and like another thing that's interesting coming from a Western perspective as me is that the religion there is Buddhism, so they do have all these temples everywhere, and yeah, I don't know, the way that and Buddhism, by the way, is a very, very positive religion, it's a lot about nature and meditation, and I don't know, it's just, they're very, very chill people, and I do like that from my perspective, it just feels very, very different than what I'm used to. So it's a little bit more fascinating seeing their history and culture and how they've developed themselves than a lot of other countries. So to me, the fact that Thailand has all these Buddhist temples that are visually very present in the landscape as you walk around, that feels very unique to me. If I was from this part of the world, perhaps it wouldn't feel quite as visually unique, but to me as a Norwegian tourist traveling here, it feels visually very different and exotic when I walk through the landscape and look around, and it stands out to me as a tourist. So I'm going to give this point to Thailand when it comes to history and culture. Next up, we have a topic that I know a lot of people are interested in, especially for men out there, and that's dating. I really enjoyed dating when I was living in the West as well, in Europe and in America. So I don't really feel like I have anything negatively to say about dating in those parts of the world. But I noticed that in both the Philippines and in Thailand, a lot of women that I meet are a little bit more family-oriented, a little bit more traditional, maybe a little bit more, generally speaking, there's a lot more women that are more feminine, soft-spoken. So for me personally, I really enjoy that, meeting that kind of women. And, obviously I can't speak on behalf of every man out there, but yeah, I think that I really enjoy the dating more here now, like in this part of the world, than I did in the Western world. But is there a difference between Thailand and the Philippines? That's difficult to say, really. I think that both places, a lot of women are very, very family-oriented, very traditional, very feminine. Maybe a little bit more of those type of women in the Philippines than in Thailand. I don't really know if there's a huge difference, but And in Thailand too, it's amazing, you know, so many absolutely stunning girls in Thailand, and a lot of them are very, very friendly. So, you know, it's also a really great place for dating. All in all, I can't really say that there's any huge difference between them, you know. Of course, with the English proficiency being higher in the Philippines, that's also something to think about. But for me, I think I'm going to give 1 point to each country here. They're 100% equal. All right, next we got an important topic for a lot of people. And in this particular topic, it's not going to be as hard to pick a winner as it was for some of the others, because this topic is communication. And based on what I was saying in some of the other topics we discussed earlier, I think you already know who's winning this one. Yeah, basically, it's just a lot easier to communicate in the Philippines than it is in Thailand, because the English proficiency level is just much, much, much higher in the Philippines as it is in Thailand. Not that it's hard to communicate with people in Thailand at all. Like, it's not something that you should worry about or think that, oh gosh, I can't go to Thailand because no one speaks English. That's not how it is whatsoever. It is super easy to communicate with people there, and you'll find a lot of people that speak excellent English as well. But this one goes to the Philippines. So 1 point for the Philippines in this category. Next up, we got transportation. So when it comes to transportation, I think that when it comes to price, Philippines probably wins this one. You know, overall, just getting taxis, they're called Grabs over there. It's the equivalent of Uber. They're more affordable than in the Philippines, boat trips, etc. And some flights as well, except for if you're flying to El Nido and Siargao, that can be quite expensive. It's more Western prices, basically. But when it comes to sort of like the convenience of transportation, I want to say that Thailand has an advantage there. Because if you're in the Philippines, let's say you're in one island and you're trying to go to another island or another part of the country, it's often a little bit complicated, and you can't just kind of fly from one place to another one. You need to fly, you know, let's say you're in an island in the south, and you have to fly all the way up to north to Manila, and then fly all the way down south to the next island that you're going to. And also there's a lot of beautiful places, like for example, Siquijor, where there is an airport there actually, but it's not open. So you have to sort of fly to another island and then get a boat from there. So there's a lot of these type of cases where like getting around in the Philippines is a little bit more less convenient, but I don't know, to me, I kind of like it like that, so it's not really a big deal for me, but I thought I'd mention that here in this video. If there's someone that is bugged by that stuff, I'm not bugged by it at all. I think it's totally fine, and I really enjoy traveling around in the Philippines. But if this is something to consider for you, then Thailand has a much better network. Pretty much wherever you're going, there's airports, any big tourist destination that's interesting around there, you can easily fly there. And let's say you're in one tourist destination such as Phuket, and you're going to Samui afterwards, super easy. You don't have to fly to Bangkok and then go to Samui. You can just fly directly between these places. So the sort of network of airports and the way things work in terms of communication, it's a little bit more developed in Thailand. And also when it comes to like transportation within big cities, like in Bangkok, if you go to take the SkyTrain, the BTS sort of subway or metro system that they have in Bangkok, it is really, really, really modern. It works really, really well. It's smooth and it's super fast. So all in all, with transportation, I'm going to give the victory to Thailand for this one. So 1 point to Thailand. All right, before we get to see who won, I just want to tell you that where I am right now, this is actually neither the Philippines or Thailand. I just got into this place, actually. I just arrived here, and right now I'm gonna film my first impression and my first day here. So next week, you can check out the vlog from this place showing my first impression here. And if you can guess where I am right now, put it in the comment fields. Let's see who gets it right. Where am I right now? This is almost like a game of, what's it called, like, where's Waldo, you know? So like, where is Ray K right now? Put your guess in the comment fields. Now then, let's look at the scorecard here. Who wins this competition? Is it gonna be Thailand or is it gonna be the Philippines? Well, when I tally up all the points, both countries actually get 6 points each. So from my perspective, I can't really say one of them is the winner over the other one. They're both absolutely amazing countries, and I know that moving forward in life, these two countries are two of my top favorite countries on earth. I've visited over, I think, 50, 60 countries around the world, but so far I really love these two countries, and I know I'm gonna keep coming back to them. And I just feel lucky to be able to be a guest in both these two amazing countries and cultures, and keep meeting fantastic people in these countries. So that's my plan. So I'm sorry, but to me, there is no winner. Two absolutely amazing countries there. So until next time, peace, love, and San Miguel lights.